Okay, so if you're a leader who's absolutely crushing it, you know this feeling, right? Your revenue is climbing, things look great on paper, but your entire day is just a nonstop barrage of pings, calls, and quick questions. You feel trapped. Well, this explainer is all about how you can finally break free from what we call the golden cage. And this quote just nails the problem, doesn't it? That massive revenue is awesome, but it means almost nothing if your focus is constantly being shattered into a million tiny pieces. You never get to do the deep, strategic work that actually scales the business. You're not really leading a company, you're just a prisoner in a high-paying job you created for yourself. So, let's really dig in and diagnose this thing together. In this first section, we're going to break down the real cost of all this real-time communication chaos. Because, let's be honest, it's way more than just a daily annoyance. It's a massive strategic liability.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because this connects your personal frustration directly to the company's bottom line. When your team gets addicted to having you available 24/7, you don't just get busy, you become the bottleneck for everything. This creates what's called a single point of failure and puts a hidden cost on the business. This hidden tax is what's fueling your burnout, and believe it or not, it's actively suppressing the real value of your company.
And yeah, this hidden cost, it actually has a name. The fragility tax. And this isn't just some clever little phrase, it's a real, measurable liability. It is literally the price your business pays for being totally dependent on one person's constant, manual effort to keep things moving.
So here's the crucial point. When every tiny process question, every small decision has to run through you, the whole system becomes incredibly fragile. Seriously, ask yourself this question. If you were completely unreachable for just one day, would everything just grind to a halt? If the answer is yes, then you've got a severe single point of failure on your hands.
And that fragility comes with a very real cost. The fragility tax is the direct hit your company's value takes because of this dependency. I mean, think about that. Big client proposal you couldn't finish last quarter because you spent half the day in drive-by meetings answering questions that totally could have waited. That lost opportunity? That is the tax, right there in action.
Okay, so that's the problem. It's a big one. But enough about that, let's talk about the solution. If you want to scale a truly durable advisory platform, you have to fundamentally shift your entire philosophy, away from that chaotic, leader-driven manual labor and towards structured, systemic execution. And we call this the asynchronous first framework.
This slide lays it all out, side by side. Two totally different worlds. On the left, you've got the cage, a world of constant interruptions, an addiction to real-time answers, where you're the bottleneck and everyone's always fighting fires. But on the right, that's the platform. Communication is scheduled. The mindset is asynchronous first. The team has real autonomy, and everyone's focus is protected. Our entire goal is to build a bridge and get you from the left side over to the right.
And listen, this has to be a deliberate, intentional choice. You are actively deciding to protect the focus of your entire team, not just your own. By setting up clear communication service level agreements, or SLAs, which are really just simple rules for response times, you empower your whole organization to manage itself and get things done without needing you to jump in every 5 minutes.
So how do we actually do this? How do we make it real? Well, we move from the why to the how by actually operationalizing your firm's communication. And we're going to build a very specific tool to get it done, the Communication Protocol Map.
It's a really simple 3-step process. First, we define the channels. What is each tool actually for? Second, we assign the right tools to the right jobs. And third, and this is probably the most important part, we lock the boundaries. We enforce the new rules to protect everyone's focus, no exceptions.
Now, let's look at a real-world example of this map. The rules here are crystal clear. They're totally non-negotiable. Slack is not for deep, complex problem-solving. It's for quick FYIs, and that's it. Email is for clients, not for a million internal back and forths. And this is a big one. All task status updates have to live on a shared project board. I mean, just that one rule alone completely eliminates those, hey, what's the status on Project X interruptions? And the really complex problems? They are saved exclusively for your scheduled weekly meeting, where they can get the full attention and brainpower they actually deserve.
And the goal here is tangible, and it's fast. To pass the implementation date for this new system, you must see a 50% decrease in those drive-by interruptions, and you have to see it within just 7 days. This isn't some long-term, far-off dream. This is about making a rapid, measurable change right now.
All right, now for the hard part. It's time to step onto what we call the captain's bridge.
The tone here is firm. The expectations are high. Why? Because protecting focus is a non-negotiable standard if you're serious about building a real platform.
Man, this quote just hits hard, doesn't it? You have to look at your communication habits objectively and ask yourself some really tough, high-stakes questions. Are you actually building a durable asset, or are you just managing a very chaotic, very expensive chat room?
First up is the absence test. Let's say you just vanished for 2 full days. No phone, no email, you're totally unreachable. Would your team use the systems you've built to keep moving forward on their own? Or would everything just grind to a screeching halt because they're all waiting for a real-time ping to tell them what to do next? Be brutally honest with yourself here.
Okay, now for the tougher one. This is the more introspective question, the autonomy check. Have you really enforced strict communication boundaries, or are you maybe secretly encouraging all these interruptions because your ego gets a little boost from being the indispensable center of every single decision? This one requires some real self-reflection.
And finally, we have asset validation. Does your firm have the disciplined, systematic communication it needs to be a valuable, sellable asset? Or is all that high revenue, your gross commission income, is it just papering over the cracks of a chaotic system that would collapse without you?
The path forward is crystal clear. And honestly, it's a command. Lock the channels, protect the focus, build the platform. That is how you finally, once and for all, break free from the golden cage